To some other stories, with barely 6 months to the 2024 elections, calls have intensified for the establishment of a public health emergency fund for the country. The call, which was first made by a coalition of CSOs led by Send Ghana, have now gained momentum as the various political parties are being urged to consider the establishment of these emergency funds in their manifestos, especially as pressure mounts on government to convert the COVID-19 levy into a public health emergency fund ahead of the election.
For the past 3 years, a coalition of CSOs led by Send Ghana has mounted pressure on the government of Ghana to increase healthcare budgetary allocations to ensure adequate preparedness in times of epidemics and the sporadic outbreak of diseases in the country. The call for a public health emergency fund intensified following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the country's health sector and the economy at large.
We had a challenge during COVID with a number of ICU beds in the country, and once a pandemic comes in, you will definitely have critically ill ones who would need ICU care. We are in a climate where pandemics should no longer be a surprise anymore. It's something we should anticipate. So establishment of a fund to prepare us wholly, the healthcare system, Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health, prepare us wholly for any pandemic so that you don't have to place a call to say, I need a bed at UGMC before you get the best of care because of a pandemic, right? The same services that are provided at UGMC, the same access to laboratory investigations, same quality of care that someone will get at UGMC, you can get that across anywhere once we have a pandemic.
Something should happen again today. What are we going to do for the money? We're going to start going around again scouting for money. We've exhausted all the funds that exist. I'll give you one classic example. The Garrett project in Accra, which was supposed to solve the drainage and sanitation problems. $85 million was diverted to solve COVID problems. COVID was beyond Ebola. It was nationwide, and if its effects we cannot recover, we are still suffering from it. And therefore, there's need for that fund so that we can anticipate, prepare, train, equip. We don't wait before we start running around to equip, to train people, to specialize. No. So when we have that fund, you will then have a well-prepared country. Anything that happens, emergency, even if it's minor, we can handle it.
As the 2024 general elections approach, the various political parties are being urged to consider the PHEF as part of their manifestos. Member of Parliament for Central Tongue, Gabi Alexander Hotoje, who is also a member of Parliament's Health Committee, is one of such persons.
The political parties must be made to include this in their manifestos. Why am I saying so? If you look at what happened during the COVID-19, it was a situation that took us without us expecting it at all. It was a situation that created panic and fear among our people. We don't always have to wait until something happens before we find solution to it. So that particular fund is of utmost importance to me. And we raised this issue at the health committee level, that COVID-19 levy, in order not to misuse it, it should be turned into that particular fund.
In 2017, the country's capacity in the areas of national legislation, policy and financing in order to prevent, detect and rapidly respond to any public health risk was rated low by a WHO Joint External Evaluation Assessment. Government was subsequently tasked to establish the PHEF to address the logistical and infrastructure challenges that confront the country's health sector. However, this recommendation did not receive any commitment from government. This is why some members of Parliament's Health Committee further want government to convert the COVID-19 levy introduced in 2021 into the PHEF.
We have funds that we are generating that we can realign. At the moment, I was even looking at the 1% COVID levy, which is generating some significant amount of money my memory serves me right, the first last year budget alone, we are anticipating close to 2.something to 3 billion Ghana cedis. That's significant.
Government has been very adamant because I strongly suspect that they want to turn that fund into something, the COVID-19 levy. They want to misuse it again. So I am renewing our call as a committee that particular fund should be changed into emergency fund.
The call for the establishment of a public health emergency fund has gained considerable attention lately in the public domain. The proponents are of the firm belief that the PHEF would position Ghana and its health sector properly to be able to deal with any health emergency in the future. But a lot is yet to be seen on the part of government in this particular regard. For GH1 News, my name is Faisal Abdul Idrisu.